Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. Today we're diving deep into Noble Gold Investments. We're going to unpack their approach to precious metals IRAs
Yeah.
and see if they might be the right fit for your retirement plan.
You know, with all the talk about inflation and market volatility these days, it's no wonder people are looking for ways to diversify and protect their savings. Precious metals, particularly gold, have always held a certain allure as a safe haven asset.
Exactly. And that's where a company like Noble Gold comes in. They specialize in making it easy for people to include gold and silver in their retirement portfolios. In fact, we've got a great resource from Gold IRA Blueprint itself, an article updated just this week on January 8th, 2025, all about Noble Gold Investments.
It's a fantastic primer. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I think it's important to understand why someone might choose Noble Gold in the first place. They've really built a reputation for being a trustworthy and knowledgeable guide in the world of precious metal IRAs.
Okay, so trust and knowledge, that's a good foundation. But what specifically are they offering?
Well, one of the things that stands out to me is their emphasis on education. They don't just want to sell you gold, they want you to understand why it might be a valuable addition to your retirement portfolio. They have tons of resources, guides, and even personalized consultations to help you make informed decisions.
That's interesting. This sounds like they're catering to people who want to be actively involved in managing their retirement savings. It's not just a set it and forget it kind of approach.
Exactly. And for a lot of retirees, that level of engagement is important. They want to feel confident in their choices, and Noble Gold seems to recognize that.
That makes sense.
hmm
So let's talk about some of the benefits Noble Gold highlights in their approach. This article lays out a few key ones, starting with asset diversification.
Right. You've probably heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's especially true when it comes to retirement planning. Adding precious metals to the mix can potentially help balance out the risks associated with traditional stocks and bonds.
So it's all about spreading the risk, not relying on a single asset to carry the weight of your entire retirement savings. Makes sense to me. The article also mentions inflation protection as a key benefit, which is a hot topic these days.
It is, and historically, gold has held its value relatively well during periods of inflation. It's not a guarantee, of course, but it can offer some peace of mind knowing that a portion of your savings is tied to something tangible and less susceptible to the erosion of purchasing power.
That's a really compelling point, especially for folks who are nearing retirement or already retired and living on a fixed income. Seeing the value of their savings dwindle due to inflation can be really scary.
Absolutely. And Noble Gold even offers a buyback program, which adds another layer of flexibility and security. If you ever need to liquidate your metals, they make it easy to sell them back.
That's pretty convenient. It takes some of the guesswork out of the process, knowing there's a reliable buyer if you need to access those funds. For anyone listening who's starting to think seriously about a gold IRA, we have a fantastic free checklist over at goldirblueprint.com. Exclusive. It's packed with tips to help you choose the right company and avoid common pitfalls. Definitely worth checking out.
It really is a great resource. Now, with all this talk about benefits, it's important to acknowledge that there are risks involved with any investment, including precious metals.
Right. Nothing is a sure thing in the world of finance. Let's spend some time talking about those potential risks. The article mentions market volatility, which I think is something a lot of people are familiar with, especially after the roller coaster ride we've seen in the stock market lately.
Exactly. Gold and silver prices can fluctuate. So true. And even though gold is seen as a safe haven, it's not immune to market forces. Are there any other risks we should be aware of when considering precious metals, particularly in the context of a gold IRA?
Absolutely. Geopolitical events can also influence precious metal prices. Things like trade wars, political instability, or even major natural disasters can create uncertainty in the markets and impact the value of gold and silver.
Okay, so it's not just about economics, it's about global events too. It sounds like you really need to stay informed and be prepared for potential ups and downs.
Exactly, and that's why I think Noble Gold's focus on education is so valuable. They can help you navigate those complexities and make informed decisions based on your individual risk tolerance and retirement goals.
I'm also curious about the practical side of things. Let's say someone decides to open a gold IRA with Noble Gold. What does that process actually look like?
It's actually pretty straightforward. The first step is to contact Noble Gold, either through their website or by phone. They have a really helpful customer service team that can answer any initial questions you might have. That's reassuring. It's always nice to know there are real people available to help guide you through the process, especially when dealing with something as important as your retirement savings.
Absolutely. Once you've made contact, they'll connect you with one of their financial professionals for a more personalized consultation. They'll help you assess your needs, discuss your investment goals, and figure out the best strategy for you.
It's great that they offer that level of personalized guidance. It can feel overwhelming trying to figure all this out on your own. Now, I know a lot of our listeners are probably wondering about investment minimums. Is there a certain amount you need to get started with a gold IRA?
Yes, there are typically minimum investment requirements for gold IRAs. For Noble Gold, it's $25,000 for a gold IRA and $10,000 for a silver IRA.
Okay, so those are good benchmarks to keep in mind. Now, once you've decided to move forward, what kind of options do you have for investing in precious metals with Noble Gold? I know they offer a few different paths.
They do. You can choose a traditional gold IRA or a silver IRA, both of which are held in a self-directed IRA account. Or, if you prefer to have direct ownership of your metals, you can opt for a physical purchase of gold or silver coins or bars.
That's interesting. So there's flexibility depending on your individual preferences
Yeah.
and how you want to structure your investment. Let's talk about the gold IRA option first, since that's our main focus here. What types of gold investments can you hold within a gold IRA?
Well, the most common option is gold bullion, which refers to pure gold bars or coins. There are a few popular choices within this category, like the American Gold Eagle and the Canadian Gold Maple Leaf. These are highly recognizable and sought-after
Ah,
coins.
yes, the classics.
And yeah,
Tangible assets with a long history of value. The article also mentions gold bars as being a good option for larger investments.
they are. Bars tend to have lower premiums than coins, which means you're paying less of a markup over the spot price of gold. So if you're looking to buy a significant amount of gold, bars can be a more cost-effective choice.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, let's say someone is intrigued by the idea of owning physical gold. What are their options for storage? That seems like it could be a logistical challenge.
It's a really important consideration. You don't want to be storing large amounts of gold at home, especially if security is a concern. Noble Gold offers a few different storage options, including IRS-approved depositories. These are highly secure facilities designed specifically for storing precious metals.
That sounds like the most secure route. What are the other options?
You can also choose to store your gold in a private storage facility, which might offer additional security features or services. However, it's important to thoroughly research any private facility before entrusting them with your assets.
Good point. It's all about due diligence and peace of mind, right? Now, I know the tax implications of a gold IRA can be a bit complex. Is there anything our listeners should be aware of in that regard?
There are a few key things to keep in mind. First, any profits you make from selling your gold are subject to capital gains tax. This applies whether you're selling physical gold or liquidating your gold IRA.
That makes sense. It's like with any investment. You're taxed on your gains. What about withdrawals from a gold IRA?
There are specific rules and potential penalties for withdrawing funds from a traditional IRA before you reach a certain age, typically 59 and a half.
So it's important to understand those rules
Mhm.
and factor them into your overall retirement plan. You don't want to get hit with unexpected fees or penalties down the road.
Exactly. And it's always a good idea to consult with a qualified tax professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual situation.
You know, speaking of guidance, I want to remind our listeners about that free checklist we mentioned earlier. You can find it at goldirblueprint.com exclusive. It's a fantastic resource for anyone considering a gold IRA, packed with tips on choosing the right company, understanding fees, and navigating the tax implications.
It's a must-have for anyone who wants to make informed decisions about their retirement savings.
It's great to have those resources available, especially when things start to feel complicated. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about what happens if you need to sell your gold. Does Noble Gold make that process easy?
They do. One of the things that sets Noble Gold apart is their buyback program. They guarantee to buy back any metals you purchase from them, which can be a huge relief for investors. It eliminates the hassle of finding a buyer on the open market.
That's fantastic. It definitely takes some of the stress out of the equation,
Mm-hmm.
you know. As we wrap up this deep dive into Noble Gold, I'm curious to get your overall take on the company. What are your final thoughts for our listeners who might be considering a gold IRA?
Overall, I think Noble Gold is a solid choice for anyone looking to add precious metals to their retirement portfolio. They've built a strong reputation for transparency, customer service, and education. Their focus on helping investors understand the ins and outs of precious metal IRAs is commendable.
I agree. They seem to genuinely care about empowering their clients to make informed decisions. Now, before we wrap up completely, is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind as they continue their retirement planning journey?
I think it's important to remember that a gold IRA is just one piece of the puzzle. Diversification is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's a golden one.
That's a wise reminder. Precious metals can play a valuable role in a balanced portfolio, but they shouldn't be the only asset you hold.
Exactly. Think about your overall retirement goals, your risk tolerance, and your time horizon. A well-rounded approach with a mix of assets is usually the best strategy.
This deep dive has been so informative. Thanks for sharing your expertise and insights.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
And for all of you listening out there, remember, knowledge is power. The more you learn about your investment options, the better equipped you'll be to make smart choices for your future.
Absolutely. And don't forget to check out that free checklist we mentioned earlier at goldiriblueprint.com/exclusive. It's packed with helpful tips for choosing the right Gold IRA company and getting started on the right foot. It's specifically designed for American retirees like you.
It's a great resource to have on hand as you navigate the world of Gold IRAs. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. Until next time,